as minorities, we'll look at ourselves, what we, you know what I'm saying? The jokes that we laugh at that sometimes might not be the right jokes to laugh at. That type of stuff breaks people down. I've seen people from the bottom of society to the top of society, and the people at the bottom of the society are pretty much there because of internal issues that they're fighting. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only 2 cents. Just whatever you guys plan on doing, just please have a little chapter of that in there for me.
Awesome, got you. So for everyone else, what does justice look like to you? Does anybody have an idea? If you woke up tomorrow, what would satisfy you in this fight? What are we fighting for?
Just to let you know, there was a guy who came to our hip hop town hall, and he was saying that there is a huge budget for mental illness here in Atlanta, or in the city of Atlanta, unfortunately, is the most underused. So what it is I think even in our community, and just like you said, we have to acknowledge that we need that help and push forth that legislation, like she was saying, that we can actually, you know, get that money and that help that we actually need. So.
My name is Sheila Patterson. For me, justice looks like from the top down, highest leadership to right in our communities. Basically acknowledging that there have been implications of laws that separated us or given punishments unfairly that unify across the board. If you're gonna say, you know, a Schedule C drug is this level of offense, then it shouldn't be different whether it's in this neighborhood or that neighborhood or whoever caught with it. So universal punishment, not favoritism, or, you know, if the cop is going to say, okay, I'm going to give you a warning this time, that judgment call, yes, it's individual, but I think also that should be something that could be considered, you know, across board. What is really necessary to pull somebody out the car for? And then also, like I said, from the top bottom, if, you know, you're going to, we'll use our candidates for presidency right now. If Hillary Clinton has done something that is something that needs to be punished, then that needs to be done, because across the board, military, I used to be, if that happened to us and that has been proven, then we got in trouble for it, because that is what the set law is. So if the law is the law, then it needs to be across the board.
Awesome. Okay. So it sounds like from that conversation, I just want to make sure I understood you correctly. Off the top, justice looks like equality. Is that what it pretty much is? Like equal treatment of said criminals, equal treatment of just in general, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's not you.
For me, I think justice is accountability. I think that, long story short, you know, like I'm sure a lot of us in here, you know, I'm a black man. I don't have a criminal record, but yet I've had bad encounter after bad encounter with police officers just being profiled X, Y, and Z. And for me, the thing that's most frustrating is that there's a lack of accountability. It's almost as if there's a license to kill that's been given to police officers across the nation, and there's no accountability, there's no prison time. If it is, it's very minimal. I think the most that we've probably seen is 3 to 5 months to a year. And so for me, justice is accountability for lives lost. If there was a life lost, like in the situation with Oscar Grant, if somebody is shot, face down, handcuffed, a situation like that, there has to be some level of accountability. Somebody has to serve 15 to 25 years for first-degree murder. Somebody has to serve manslaughter charges. And I think a lot of the anger, the frustration that we see is because there's absolutely zero accountability for any of these officers, and they're being protected by a corrupt system, and that system is allowing them to operate under the guise that I'm invincible. And so for me, justice is holding people that do harm in our community accountable.
Okay, great. So we've got equality so far. We have accountability. That's agreeable? Did I disagree? Okay, and I'll take one last one before we move on. What does justice look like for you? Say your name and then I guess your summary comes up.
All right, so hello everybody, my name is Darian. But for me, the way I kind of visualize it is that, you know, throughout our judicial system, we get a picture of a scale. And, you know, everything is supposed to be balanced. You know, you do one thing, you get a certain reaction. So for me, what I'm seeing is that the scales are unbalanced. And, you know, just like concepts of like taxes, you know, if everything is reciprocal between, you know, entity and another, then where do you get the idea of tax? Well, a portion of something is supposed to be given. So I think, you know, the general concept and, you know, the main issue is an imbalance in everything. So, you know, quite often I think it's a fear factor too. You know, they're afraid of us, we're afraid of them. So quite often we keep getting these back forth.
You mentioned fear factor. That's something we're going to probably talk on later, but I will mention a question I want to pose to you guys. I feel like maybe the issue we're having with like equality is because somebody brought up that people walk into situations with Black guys and there's kind of this said fear, especially from other cultures. I'm gonna let you go ahead and just.
Actually, I just want to have one person. He's been waiting for a while. I just want to get.
I'm Derek Simpson. I got extensive history with the system and the judicial whole program or whatever. It's just from going in and out of the system. And I think one of the main things that I really pay attention to as far as like the interaction between the people that's getting in trouble or going to jail and the police officers taking them to jail is not knowing the difference between cooperation and obedience. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like that's the root of where the problems all go wrong in the pullover situation. You know what I mean? Like the police that I've been encountered with, that I've had encounters with, they've always made it to a situation where you have to be obedient instead of cooperate with them, which is all you supposed to do as grown men and women. You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, I just feel like you got to be some way to set laws or set parameters based on where does obedience start, and once they got that in their heads, why do we have to be obedient to them when it's just a cooperation situation? And I feel like we should be protected by hate crimes if they're gonna do it like that. You know what I mean? Like if it's gonna be said that, you know, we look a certain type of way or we act a certain type of way, and so that's the reason why we had more inclination to pull this person over. I believe that the same way that the lesbian, gay, and bi transsexual community has hate crime laws put in place for them not being persecuted because of those situations, I should be able to sag my pants and wear gold teeth. And that's what it is.
That's great. So far what we have is equality, accountability, and acceptance, meaning like however you look, you should be profiled for it, just accepting people for how they look, not finding like any sort of threat, just giving people a chance, right? All right.
And so we're kind of going to take a second to kind of segue into, we kind of address the issues. We all know why we're here, and now we want to look at some solutions for that problem. And I think from our point of view, it's a two-pronged approach. So for me, it's a political and it's economic kind of systemic kind of issue that's going on. And just to look at the political issue, because I look at it almost as if kind of creating change within the system that we're in. And that's kind of the political aspect of it. And that comes with knowing your laws and knowing. Somebody spoke about why are they getting off for like some of the charges that the police have gotten in 6 months, maybe 3 to 5 years. There are certain words in the laws and then certain language that's being used that allows them to kind of have that leeway. And you know, a lot of when it comes to speaking about police brutality and kind of exerting excessive force, rather, it's one of the laws is they're at their own discretion. You know what I mean? And that word discretion kind of leaves it wide open for however you want to interpret it. You know what I mean? And so those are the things that we need to kind of address, having petitions signed and kind of knowing what laws are being voted on and being registered to vote, because you can't do anything without voting and without being registered to vote. So while we're here, we actually have one of the actionable steps that we have is to have voter registration forms here. So you can register to vote. So at least at the end of today, you would have known, all right, I came to something, I registered to vote, and now I can start making some changes kind of within the system. And so we're kind of going to open up the floor for any comments or any ways that you guys have any ideas or opinions for how to kind of operate within the system.
Hello. My name is Jonathan Dell. Me and my business partner, we own T's and Poles down the street. It's a really nice establishment. Y'all should stop by one day. But basically why I came here is because I wanted to make sure that I was able to reach out to everybody that I actually could see. What we want to do on Saturday, actually, I'm inviting out the whole Black community to the shop. I'm feeding everybody. We're just going to eat. We're going to sit down just like this, talk, figure out what we can do, figure out different solutions. Like I said, we need to be able to vote. We need to get all our people out here to vote. So we need to set up things where it's good for the community, where you can come out and see where your vote poll is and make sure that you're registered. We need to go out and make sure that we try to feed our Black community. We're not feeding it because we're shopping everywhere else. Now, of course, I'm not saying that it's gonna change over in a year. I mean, but it's a gradual process. We have to make sure that we feed our community, because when I go by the Hispanic community, I know it's a Hispanic community because I can't read any of the signs. When I go into like off of Buford Highway, where it's all the Asians, I can't read any of those. But when you think about the Black community, you only think about the poor areas or the poor areas that needs to be knocked down. You don't really think about the Black community when you walk down the suburbs. You're not really thinking, oh, that's Black. You only associate it with the hood. And we got to get out of that mentality. We got to stop thinking that, hey, hood is cool. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to be legible when you're writing. It's okay to learn. It's okay to teach amongst each other. All that's okay. So until we make that cool, we're gonna always be in that same system. So it's up to us to change the community, to make it cool to be good, to make it cool to be smart.
And we're gonna go one more person, but I want to take a second for everybody to go to, as we talk about operating within the system, I want everybody to take out their phone and go to joincampaign0.org. It literally lists, it shows us how to operate within the system and kind of the things we're looking to do. It talks about we can end police violence in America through limiting intervention, improving community interactions, and ensuring accountability. And it lists what laws in your area you can kind of show what street you live on, show who your congressman is, show who your city councilwoman is. And it kind of lists all those things all on this one site. And I think that's one step that we need to do to figure out how we can work within the system. So I guess we go to another person. It is joincampaign0.org, and I'll repeat it throughout the entire.
Please introduce yourselves, just in case, because people do want to know, especially if you have something important really that you're sharing. We want to make sure that people know who you are. Thanks, George.
We're talking about solutions, correct? My name is Yanaja Lone Wolf. I am a proud Ogallala Lakota Native American and Black woman. My mother was from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I'm also the granddaughter of the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan. And also, I'm a national organizer and an activist. And I recently helped with the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March for Justice Sorrell. And being brought up and raised in revolution and activism, these type of roundtables I'm quite used to being around. But the problem is our solution. What's the solution? My mother was in prison for 7 years illegally. I would say illegally, because she worked for President Muammar Gaddafi. So I've been around this. But what is our solution? I strongly believe that Beyonce said, the best revenge is your paper. Our solution, my little thing fell off, but our solution is our paper, is making sure that we do an economic shutdown, blackout, spending the dollars amongst our own people, and not asking for a hookup amongst our own people, but actually helping in really unifying together as Black, brown, and Black people and Native people. We need to unite together. I strongly believe working because I'm both biracial, I'm Native American and Black, I work a lot with Native communities and Black communities as well as Latino communities. And when I see the power in numbers amongst themselves, just imagine when we unite and all of us begin to really come together united and say, no more shopping at Walmart, no more shopping at Target, no more shopping at Coca-Cola. Getting their products, all of these corporations that continue to fund the injustice of our people, it must stop. And I believe that our solution is going to be that in regards to governing ourselves. When you go into the Italian communities in New York, when you go into the Jewish communities all throughout America, you see them governing themselves. They don't, even when you step in there just to go to their local bodega or whatever, you already feel like you don't belong there. How come that's not happening within our own community? When there's anything that happens in their community and a police officer, if it's a police engaged situation, they talk to the local leadership in that community before the media even knows about it. How come that's not happening with us? Because we are not united. We was out there on Saturday protesting Justice Sorrell's Black Lives Matter, but we don't even look at our own life and think that it matters when we're walking down the street and we see someone walking and they're tired and they're hungry and we don't ask them, do you need something to eat? Do you need a ride? We don't even look at each other and say, hi, how are you? When we're in our own community, we don't even talk to our own neighbors. We don't even support one another. We have to stop that. And it all starts with I. There's no we unless there's an I first. There's no we unless there's me first. I always say that I can't go into no community and organize. I help the situation with Freddie Gray and put together solution-based town halls and protests and all that in Baltimore. But I had to make sure that my home was good. I had to make sure that my 5-year-old and my 15-year-old have food in their refrigerator. I always say charity starts at home first, and then you could go out and help one another. I strongly believe that also, I was just talking to my videographer about investment groups. We have to join together in regards to bringing our dollars together. I just purchased land in Detroit, Michigan for $500. I didn't put up that $500. I asked 4 other people who I know and said, do you have 100? Do you have 100? Do you have 100? Let's go ahead and buy this land and start doing urban gardening in the food drought area of Detroit. That's all what it boils down to. There is an area on 10th Street of homes that are $5,000. If there's anyone that I have a home, right? I have a friend that has a home and she owes $5,000 in back taxes. If there's 5 people in here that said, I have $1,000, let's go ahead and use this home for a community center. This is all that it takes. We have to come together because guess what? The Mexicans do it. You want to know why you can't pronounce any of those things that you see in the Mexican community? Because it's for themselves. It's for their own people. We have to do that. It comes down to us being able to make our own Black Wall Street. That was the Black and Native Americans that came together for that, was Black Wall Street.
Sorry.
So I wanted to thank you, but I just wanted, that's my idea in regards to solution-based ideas. And it's not just an idea. I'm sorry, I act upon anything that I say. I'm acting upon it now. So if you're ready to act upon boycotting, economic boycotting, investment groups, raise your hand or do a Black Lives Matter fist in the air, because that's all that it's gonna take. Thank you. Palamia.
And we're passing around a sheet with a lot of those companies and those names and things that you guys can take a picture of and look at.
Check the picture. Before we move on to the next subject, before we leave, what she said is exactly what we want to get to. I'm waiting. Can you guys hear me like this? Yeah. Okay, cool. Half the reason we're here is to talk about things like this. There's a couple people that I'm waiting on to get here, unfortunately. Yami, are you here? No? Nicole
Yami?
Gardner, are you here?
Nicole Gardner, are you
We're
here?
waiting on them to get here, but they have some great ideas about, we really got to touch back on that. Just taking back our power, and a lot of times our power, I know that we are the greatest consumers of this nation. So if we were to equally agree upon that, and not just about boycotting for a week, not just boycotting for a month, really just say, okay, here are our resources within our community. Here are places we can shop if you don't want to shop at Walmart and Target anymore because they don't support our ideals. If we were to really sit there and run together, those are the things that we would really see the most impact in. Not just boycotting and protesting. I feel like people look at that and that's impactful. But I feel like that's not. Obviously, decades later, it is clearly not enough. So we're gonna get into that. I really want to wait on those 2 people. If we can, it's like 15 more minutes and then we'll just have yeah, we're gonna have a conversation, but I definitely want to make sure that I get you to touch on their more factual points. Yours? Sorry, I just like talking to people, so.
I don't think this is like the house mic. Those are mics that are thankfully and gratefully supplied by K100 for Blizzard. So I really appreciate you regardless. So we definitely want to make sure that these wonderful ladies do come. As United Howard, I thank you so much for coming through. There are a lot of other people. I'm sure other people have not told us that we're coming, and they have some great solutions. So I just want to get everybody else.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, owner of the Frat House Recording Studios in Marietta, Georgia. I want to speak in response to what Yanaja was saying about economic shutdown or economic blackout. By show of hand, show of hands, how many people in here have a bank account at Go or Chase or any other major bank here? It's a good amount of people. Okay, so my question is, when we're talking about economic shutdown or blackout, is everybody withdrawing their money from these banks? Could that be a possibility? Is that something that we can organize, like that's an actionable step, since I know tonight we're talking about solutions? That's already in motion. Okay, 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 absolutely.
All right, so raise your hand if you have put money into a black bank. Okay, so it's still going on. Keep going.
No, that's all I had to say.
That's what I was about to say.
There's a whole list that we're passing around of black banks.
What I'm gonna do, because like I said, we can't wait on people, I'm gonna put together an email list from the people that have those resources and those alternatives. And I'm gonna send it to everyone who emailed me, and if you want that list, at the end of this, I will pass out some information and give you my personal information. I'll put together an email list for all that. I'm gonna let you speak.
Well, I just want to let you know that Gardner said she got you.
Okay, cool.
My name is Mario Stowers, and it's something I just really got to get off my chest. I'm a college basketball coach, been here for 6 years, and one thing I want to state is that I don't know this man in my right, but there's no way that I can respect this man first, respecting himself. So when it comes to the police, they don't respect us because they feel like we don't value our own lives. And the only way it's going to change is that we have to stop glorifying negativity. I deal with a lot of kids, and the things that I love about this young generation is that there's nothing lame to them. They don't feel like anything is lame. When I was growing up and somebody wore tight pants, you thought that was lame. This generation, as long as you are confident in whatever you believe in, this generation is going to follow you. So we need to publicize positivity. Stop glorifying drugs. Stop glorifying half-naked women. If we're going to be on Instagram, let's talk about positive stuff. And then the youth will follow. So if we start respecting each other, then outside people will start respecting us as well. So these solutions to the problem is first start with the root of the problem. And I think that's us, and that also starts with you.
I feel like I've been down here a lot. Oh, I gotta let one girl talk. Then I'm gonna get up there because I know I haven't been passing the mic up there a bit. So I'm gonna
Peace and love, greeting. This is piggyback off on that right here. To the mic.
Bring it closer.
Hello. Anger, fear, lust, greed. Piggyback off on that right here. America, foundation, anger, fear, lust, greed. Fear, lust, greed. Television that they promote with our face. Anger, fear, lust, greed. All of this is lower energy of your lower self. They keep us operating in our lower self with anger, fear, lust, greed. They provide it for us and we eat it up. We take a message on social media of anger, fear, lust, and greed, and we promote it. This is energy. This is not racism. This is scientific warfare.
It's all energy.
This is scientific
All of
warfare.
this fucking scientific will tell you.
Your very existence is energy. Your very existence is energy. You can have solutions, but those solutions are the fruit of the tree. We have to embody the tree. We have to raise ourselves by ourselves with ourselves. Self being soul. So it takes from us, from a standpoint of being not religious beings, but spiritual beings, getting to the essence of our true self. Because money, land, all of these things are fruit of the tree. These things are, and so our very essence has to be purified. We have to stop, like my man said, stop glorifying anger, fear, lust, greed. Stop acting out of anger, fear, lust, greed, and bridge higher and lower self with pure, and most people might not understand it, but love is the bridge between higher and lower self. And once you begin to love unconditionally, without a matter, without a doubt. Now I'm speaking from a place of understanding, from being and doing something about situations. Like actually going out, putting my life on the line, and doing something about a situation. Inspiring. We need an inspiration-based system. Greed, America is ran on greed and fear. The only way to overcome greed and fear is inspiration. Like my man, post positive things, say positive things, preach positive things. The only way that you can get over the greed and the anger and the fear is to combat it with pure, unadulterated love. And radiate love, radiate enlightenment. Be the very personification of love and enlightenment. And that is the only way. That is the only way. That is the only way to raise yourself by yourself. And then, like my sister over here said, there can be no we without I. We have to be grounded in our lower energies. And we live in a lower planetary system, and so it deals with developing anger, fear, lust, and greed, and overcoming all of these things. You step into your higher self. Life is way much deeper than just getting the material benefits of life. Life is so much more deeper than that. And we have to purify our complete existence. And that's just my take. I really have a very esoteric view on things. But yeah, that's my beginning solution, is purifying your very existence and learning what love actually is without the benefit of you. So yeah, radiate love, radiate enlightenment.
I'm going to move back in the economic direction in 2 seconds, but I want to stay in the space and ask a couple questions about what justice inside the system looks like. And with that being said, I wanted to talk to a couple people, starting with this guy, about justice inside the system. I know one thing I heard was that people took voting for a joke until they saw this whole Trump thing happen, and now everybody's trying to get serious. So from somebody who's trying to be inside the system, I just wanted to get your 2 cents.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right, what's up? This is good. My name is Eric Bell, and I'm actually on the ballot right now in Clayton County for commissioner. Appreciate it, baby. I went to my first march on Friday, and there were 3 things I wanted to get for it, and one of them was make sure we vote. We have to. And specifically in Clayton County, only 17% of the population vote, but 1 out of 4 of us live below the poverty line, and that's our metro Atlanta. But we look at it around the room, 1 out of 4 of us are going without what we need, and it's only because we're not voting. We got to step up to the plate. The average age in metro Atlanta is 32 years old. That's us. But the average voter is a 65-plus-year-old white woman. So when we're talking about allocation of resources to economic activity, that's where our resources are going. When they're talking about jobs and infrastructure, our resources are going towards the elderly. So we're the ones who are going outside. So that forces us into survival economics, prostitution, drug selling, plain out hustling. Eric Gardner selling his CDs cigarettes. He did it because to avoid an opportunity in his community. But we have to provide the opportunity for ourselves. It's our nation, our community, our state. And until we step up and start holding our elected officials accountable, it's going to continue to happen. Because as an aspiring elected official, I work for you. So if only 17% of you are telling me what to do, 83 of you, I don't hear nothing of. So if I want to stay in that position, I'm only going to work with the 17. And that's what's happening, y'all. We got to care about one another. I tremendously need your support. We can make it happen. Eric Bell. My website is bellforus.com. I'm a graduate of Morehouse. I'm from Clayton County, South Side. If anybody know about it, or you see, we in here. We coming up, y'all. I usually don't say that, but considering my audience, I feel like I could be one with you. I could be real. I don't got to come up here suit and tie and be as I am. But we got to stand up, y'all. We can't wait to protest and march. We go to the polls and hold our elected officials accountable for what they do. It's ours, our tax dollars, our land. No longer should we let them run them up. Go down to the state capitol. Go to your local administration buildings and make your voices heard. Let them know you're not going to be in office anymore, because we're going to stand up. In the next election season, this election is every single year. Once one of us in, we all in. 4 years. So how long do your commissioner stay in? 4 years. So if you guys vote me in and let your counterparts in Clayton County know, I'll be in until 2020. And then we'll keep going. Right, there's another election in Clayton County, Alfred Dixon of Ground Zero. He's gonna be, we're gonna make sure we get him in as the Jonesboro City Council. So let's work together to get us elected.
Before we leave, I'm gonna run that back just so y'all know who we can vote for, who's on our side. But before you leave, I just want to pass the floor around, ask and see whatever insight I can get about. You guys know there's elections year-round every year, but for some reason we only get excited. It seems the majority of us only get excited when it's the presidential election, and we're talking about elected officials. Half of y'all, no offense, not to y'all, but half of people don't know who their elected officials are because they did not elect them. So we have to start talking about these other elections outside of the presidential. So if anyone has any insight about elections beyond the presidential election and things like Eric Bell, I'd love to hear from you.
Sure.
I'm coming to you. Hold on.
Anybody else while I'm looking for you? Has any insight?
So you asked about another election first, Keith Gardner, who's running for Solicitor General in Fulton County, so he'd probably be the best person.
Can you hold your mic up just a little bit more?
This doesn't work.
Okay, let me pass this to you then, because I need them to hear you. We gotta hear you to get that word.
Once again, the name is Keith Gardner. That would be a person for Fulton County Solicitor General. He's over all the lawyers in Fulton County. One of his biggest things is not to charge some of our young black brothers when they get into a fight at a basketball game.
What's his name again?
Keith Gardner.
Keith Gardner.
We're gonna hold his feet to the fire. My name is Antonio Lewis. I work in the labor movement. So I know that the labor movement, we funded the civil rights movement. When Dr. King was assassinated, he was at a labor event. He was at a sanitation workers strike. So you seen signs that said, "I am a man," because they were just trying to say like we're men too. You were speaking about elections. We gotta vote. We have to vote every single year. We gotta vote in small elections. Your voice makes a difference in the smaller elections. My brother say he ain't playing county. What zone are you in playing county?
District 3.
District 3, you gotta tell that.
Lovejoy, Riverdale, Jonesboro, Hampton. I need you.
So I have one more thing I want to talk about. So I'm on an organizing panel for the entire country or whatever. With the next week I'll be at the DNC, and we're doing something where we're talking about making cities hire police who live in the city. So if when you guys do vote, you do talk to politicians, you tell them hire 70% of the police in the city. So if you're from the city, I know a lot. Just think about Ferguson, Missouri. The guy who killed Mike Brown, he was from 2 hours from St. Louis. That's where he lived. He drove 2 hours to work every day. In his mind, he didn't care. He probably had never touched a black man before in his life. But if you hire police who are from the community, you're policing yourself. That's community policing yourself. That's why Atlanta gets it right. And we hired to be a police officer in the city of Atlanta. 60%, anybody who works for the city of Atlanta, 60% of the workers have to live in the city of Atlanta. And they complain about that every year. The contracts come up, but we tell them you want to police yourself and you want to work in the community you live in. So that's enough for me.
I got that. I get that. So, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Probably not. The same. How we were talking earlier with you about our economical impact, I wanted to bring somebody to the floor real quick. Yami, she has an event coming up, but we just want to talk about an overview of small economical impacts we can make right now. So, y'all make some applause for Yami.
Hi, everybody. Well, my name is Yami, and I work with a few different organizations working on solutions for the community right now. The main one right now, the event that she's speaking of, is this Wednesday at Citizens Trust Bank at 75 Piedmont. Basically, we're trying to encourage everybody to get a black bank account because looking at the statistics, The wealth gap between white Americans and African Americans is so large at this point that we need a $1 billion bank. That's what we need to try to lessen the gap, even just a little bit. Because if we're looking at it, right now, it was estimated that at 2015, it'd be $1.1 trillion worth of buying power for the Black community. That's how much money we're spending. But guess how long the Black dollar lasts within our community? Okay, there are a lot of different myths.
5 minutes.
6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. When the Jewish dollar lasts in their community for 19 days. Think about it. For us, it lasts 6 minutes. That's something to think about.
We'll definitely be touching on that.
The point is that they cater to like low income and Black banks no. Citizens Trust Bank.
It's okay, honey. We're gonna get to you over there. You're talking a lot. We're gonna get you.
I'm just listening, really.
No, I appreciate your input, babe. I appreciate that you being interested in it because definitely we need more people to care about that. That's really what it is because there are not that many people. I feel like we have a bad stigma towards other Black businesses in general. Like you think that they're not handling their things the way a white business would. When in reality, this Black bank, this was one of the first banks to come out of the recession, was one of the first banks to come out of the depression. Citizens Trust Bank has a history for being one of the first Black banks to bounce, one of the first banks, period, to bounce back when the economy drops. That being said, we need to have more faith in our own community and in our own economics because we already know what they care about is the dollar. So if we hit them where it hurts, if we start taking money out of their banks and putting it into ours, where do you think that money is going? Into our community because SunTrust, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, the biggest bank, Chase, the bigger banks in America right now, they're still giving out half-ass loans to people of color, even if they have the same credit score as a person that isn't of color. Their statistics are there. I can't give you the exact numbers, but I'm telling you, you look for them, they're there. They're open data that not everybody's looking for. And the more we start believing in our own community, the more we will see a change. And the quickest change the most immediate change that you can do is slowly start changing your spending habits from these major chains that don't give a fuck about us to Black businesses and Black banks. Like I said, $1 billion bank, if we invested in any of our banks, Black banks throughout America, and just one of them became $1 billion bank, could you imagine the change in that wealth gap? Just from people being able to start businesses with loans that aren't meant to finesse you out of your money. Like with us having equal opportunities because they're coming from people that look just like us. That's basically what I wanted to tell y'all. So yeah. And it's gonna be at Citizens Trust from 2 to 4 on Wednesday. Come out, open an account, transfer your credit card, refinance your mortgage, whatever it is that you're trying to get done, they can help you. They're really here to help you. 75 people, please come out, spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family, even if you have just $20 to your name, if you savings account right there, like, come on, you can get it done.
Before I pass the mic, I want to say what you said about the businesses and us complaining about the quality of the service that we get. One thing that you don't realize is that other businesses, they better their service and they better their quality of things because the customers and the people who are supporting them are asking for that change, are telling them that they need to do better, are telling them that they need to have better service. But if we're just too quick to just leave them and then not even let them know why I'm leaving or why I don't want to shop here or why I'm not supporting this, then they'll never be able to fix that. So.
Hey, what's up? I just want to add to what she was saying. I'm Scotty ATL. And I just want to add this though, for real. Like, I was talking to Killer Mike earlier about this same thing, what she talking about, putting our money into Black-owned banks. And to be honest, I was a little skeptical about it. You know what I'm saying? So I asked him, like, what was the purpose behind it? And he was telling me that it was to bring more control and more power for ourselves in our own community. So I'm personally gonna start one. And the advice that he gave me was, If you don't feel comfortable putting all your money in, start with $100. Or start with whatever you got that's gonna allow you to do it and allow it to grow and allow it to work before you just say, okay, I ain't doing it or I'm gonna commit myself fully. Just give it a chance. So I'll let y'all know I'm personally gonna do it.
Yeah. My name is Kelby Kandick, Tech Geek magazine owner, philosopher, but
Black business owner.
yeah. But I think one of the things that started off with is what is justice, and I think it's a conception. We got this misconception that justice equals equality, and if every house gets a loaf of bread and you have 2 people in your household and they have 8 people in there, is that fair? We starting all the way back, Black people, like to demand the same treatment as white people isn't fair for us.
I got you guys.
When you sit up and look at the Stanford rapist who the judge let him off because going to jail would gravely impact his well-being, that is not fair. So when we get back to the economics and everything that we're talking about, it's not enough to say don't spend money. It's not enough to say black out. We gotta say what to do with that money. You can't, no one is gonna inconvenience themselves personally for the greater good. We ain't gonna eat fast food on Wednesday. So I'm just gonna be hungry on Wednesday? Let me know where I can go get something to eat on Wednesday where it's gonna come back to me. You understand? We put our money in these black banks because these black banks, a lot of people don't understand the lending ratio. For every, I believe, $1, they can lend or leverage it to lend $10 or $100. So the more money that goes into those black banks, the more that they can lend, and they're more likely to lend money to you as an individual, if for a black person, if you're trying to start a business. And if you're a black business, you're 6 times more likely to hire black people. And if you're trying to purchase a home, that's where wealth comes from. For many consumers, many of us who are not entrepreneurs, that's our biggest investment. So when we're not putting the money into the things that bring it back to us, it's just economic recycling. That's all it is. I'm gonna spend money with you because it doesn't matter if you spend money with me, because I know you're gonna spend money with her, and she does business with me. There's a lot of, raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur, you got a business going on up in here. Look around this room. We don't need leaders. We are leaders. Everybody in this room is a leader. I know, my man, you a super entrepreneur over there. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Scotty. I support your business. I support my man Blizzard. There's a lot of businesses in here that I spent money with, spent money on, and send business to. Not because I'm looking for a handout, a kickback, because they black and I love them and I love each and every person in this room. We can't be afraid to say that we love each other, especially among black men. Like all this homophobia out there, I love you, brother. I love you, brother. I love you, brother. Like this Black Lives Matter and going out on 75, 85, we're not showing that Black Lives Matter. We only do that when someone died. We showing that Black death matters. Black life happens every day. So we gotta stand up and support each other's businesses, each other's dreams, each other's goals. That's my whole purpose for why I started making the magazine. I really don't care much about music. I started it to help people. I saw young black men who were losing money, chasing a dream. So I put together a platform to help them actually turn a profit and start making money. I'm for people who are chasing their dream, and I love the energy that's in here and everybody that came out. Man, make some noise for yourself. I appreciate the Omen Agency. This venue, they rent this venue out, so spend some money here. My man K100, he also has advertising for sale. All these entrepreneurs in here, but let's keep some money circulating around this room because 19 seconds ain't long enough.
I want to let a couple people chime in on that, and then I want to move it along to a friend of mine who has another amazing experience for you guys. I'm gonna get you right here, and then sir with the red shirt, you're next, and I'm gonna pass it on.
Hey everybody, can everybody hear me? Hi, My name is Joy. I'm on the management team for Janelle Monet and her Wonderland Records Collective. So I'm here on behalf of myself, and I also came to represent my Wonderland family because I know we all could be here. But I mean, I have a lot to say going back to what I believe justice looks like. If you ask me, it goes back to reparations. I have a lot to say about how I feel about also what you were talking about when it relates to transitioning your way of thinking and your spirituality, because what we seem to forget is we all are kings and queens, and we have to remember that. And once you know that and you understand that and you acknowledge that, then you're going to act a certain way and it's going to reflect within your community. But going back to the economic piece, I do believe that group economics is the solution. I've been saying this for a long time, and I am going to go to Citizens Trust on Wednesday, and I'm going to start the process to transfer my money. But I think I've seen stuff on social media like, well, our entertainers and our athletes need to do something. And a lot of times they don't speak on these things because they get slapped on the hand. Or, you know, they're like, it's crazy. But what I would like to see happen, and I would personally hope, Yami, is that her name? I would love to take a meeting with you because my personal network alone is worth millions of dollars, and I would love to be able to create some type of platform to educate our athletes and our entertainers, because a lot of times it's just miseducation, misunderstanding. They're scared. They don't know what to do. They don't know what, you know, they probably don't even know that there are Black banks out there that they can put their money in, that they can trust. So I would love to set up a meeting with Yami to discuss how we can start some type of education platform for our athletes and our entertainers to start that process. And I would also like to see some type of education platform in our high schools and also in our colleges, because what banks do, like Wells Fargo, Chase, they go to these colleges and they talk to these freshmen and get them to transfer their money into the bank. And a lot of times it's also miseducation at home. My mother, for example, she was an accountant at Exxon for years. She retired from there. She has multiple retirement accounts right now, multiple accounts. She has a lot of money I don't even know about. But she never taught me. So I didn't learn what to do with my money. I didn't know where to put my money. I didn't know that there are Black banks that I can, you know, deposit my money into. So I also feel like our parents are, you know, need to be educated. So I want to start the platform to educate our athletes and our entertainers, because our youth follow what they do, and if we can get 5 to 10 people on social media talking about transferring money over and why, and that they can trust them, then I believe that can start a movement with our youth, and then actually going into our schools and our high schools and our colleges and educating our African American students, because they probably just don't know, and that can help the long-term solution. Because yes, we definitely can transfer our money, but we want to get them to while they're young. So those are 2 solutions that I personally would like to hopefully to get our community together with that.
You can speak louder so the people upstairs can hear you.
I'm so sorry. I apologize about the mic issues. But if talking out loud to everyone works better for you, you are not withheld to this mic. Like, it's all good. Real quick, I'm gonna pass the floor or mic to my friend here. Like great. He deals with financial advising as well. So I want to get your input before we move on.
Sure. I'm gonna be brief. Okay.
Well, hold the mic over.
Okay. Is this all right? Cool. Like you said, I want to build on the economic factor. My name is Lamont. I work with Scotty ATL. I'm part of one of his many businesses. We work together, but by trade, I'm a financial advisor, fully licensed federally, state, life and health insurance, all the whole thing, comprehensive financial planning. But just like she said, there's a lack of literacy about financial options. All we think about is the bank. The bank is one source to be able to have liquid savings for things that we need immediately. We can use loans and small business loans and credit lines and things of that sort, home equity lines of credit, so on and so forth, to be able to do things. But you also need to learn about investments. Also how to be able to create generational wealth through insurance products, through fixed income vehicles, things of that nature. So I do actually go to the schools and do free seminars and other workshops about financial literacy. Things as simple as, you know, balancing the checkbook, understanding what an IRA is, an individual retirement account, what is a 401k, what are all these other things like annuities and things of that sort, so that we don't get taken advantage of, if that makes sense. So banking is one instrument of many that we can use when it comes to economic assets and things of that sort. So I just wanted to add that in. And if you need some help, or Yami, we can all partner together from the financial advisement side in conjunction with banking institutions. I can certainly give help. I got a couple clients in the building too. What's good?
Just so you guys know, before you leave, if it's not already obvious, I want you guys to network. All of you guys, real quick, attention please. I just want to keep this focused so we can get us out of here. All of you guys who have something to offer to this community, to offer to your people, or ideas, join, you hear, and then everybody that has ideas, I want you guys to network before we leave. That's how we put plans in action. So don't leave without getting, I challenge everybody to get at least 5 contacts before you leave and put a plan in motion, please. So let me pass it on to, oh, there you are. How you gonna do so fast?
Teleport.
I just want to speak on what you said too, man. I'm gonna get out of the way, but I feel like one of the things that we have to do is we have to start within ourselves and with our community. And you know, like I feel like we sometimes when these tragedies and these things happen, everybody's excited, and I agree with everybody for feeling hurt and angry and all of that. But it's not enough to me, in my opinion, to just be hurt and angry. I feel like this is the second step. The protesting is the first step. They twisted up what I said a little bit on the news, saying I was for stopping the protest. I never said that. I felt like the protesting was a good idea to get people's attention. And now what we doing is strategizing and coming together and bringing ideas. But I feel like, man, it's stuff you can already do in your own community. Who are your neighbors? Who live next door to you? Who live across the street? Like for me growing up, that's one of the things that my mom made sure I knew the people that was around me. So if something happened and I wasn't there, they could look out for me. I know my neighbor. What's going on in your own community? Because sometimes it's like we're screaming for the world. We got to do that. But we also got to do what we can already do in our own community right now. So in essence, you here right now. But the next time this happens, will you be here? Will you continue to come and implement these ideas? Some of y'all not. Some of y'all are. And we need more people to come back consistently and be a part of this, man. For real.
I'm just like the rest of them here, and then we're gonna move on. Like I said, it's gonna be plenty of time towards the end for everybody to get their additional comments out, but I just want to keep this thing moving. If you could speak up.
Just a secret, from 9 to 10, we'll all be staying after to talk about solutions and get people together with the organizers. So.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? How y'all doing out here? All right, well, I'm happy y'all alive and well. My name is Chuck Cherry. I'm a Black IT professional, business guy. That's what I'm gonna call myself today. Y'all need to speak louder? All right, so I got 3 points that I wanted to touch on. One thing I wanted to touch on is advocacy patterns. If we have been advocating so long in our community, how come these patterns haven't been passed down to us? Not everyone knows how to be an advocate in the community. So however you can, if you, like, I can't remember her name, but if you know how to advocate for your community, teach someone, write it down, pass it along, because not everyone knows how to be advocates in their community. 2, I wanted to mention the Black Lives Matter movement, or the rally in the streets that you see every day. It's more impactful to do absolutely nothing, to have mediocrity in these streets, because they are broadcasting it on live television. So everybody can agree that everybody has one idea of a solution, but there's many ways to get to that solution. So make sure you support each other. If you may not even agree with protesting in the street, that has been working for 50 years. But to be in solidarity and to stand together means something, and to show the world means something. When they look at Atlanta, Georgia, will you be the 1 out of 10,000 people that they say marched in solidarity and showed and sparked the rest of Georgia, the rest of the Bible Belt, the rest of the South? And my last point is that we need to kind of change how these cops kind of get paid after they shoot someone. They get paid administrative leave. I'll tell a story in the book. They changed the economics when they bought people, and realize what I'm saying. When they bought people from Africa to America, they were paid transportation. They were paid to transport. Then they realized too many people were dying in the process. They started paying for every head alive that made it to America. You gotta change the money. You gotta change the way that we do things capitalistically. We live in a capitalist society. So that's all I have to say.
y'all hear me?
I think, is this one better?
I got a cool one over here.
Okay, so, can y'all hear me? I don't think this one. Okay. Well, my name is Diamond.
Project.
I am a television producer. And so working in networks, I find that we have the same issue. It's the white people that are leading the networks, telling us what we want to see on television. So my effort is to create content that empowers. And so even if you're not a content creator, or even if you're in another industry, create videos, like use your phone. Obviously we know the power of video. And I think that we need to create more positive video content.
Oh, yeah.
It's a $1 billion market. And the thing is, video is most prominent here in America, and it's growing in other countries. So if we start to tell our story, if we start to be controlling of our narrative, I think that that's another way. So even if you're in other industries, please get with people that are creators and tell these stories, tell your narrative. Yeah, like don't be afraid. I think that we can control the stories that are told. Like I don't watch the news, and I just don't think that's all that's happening in the world. Like there's positive things, and I think that we're the creators of those things, so we need to create.
I got Sunny over here, and then I have you.
Yo, what's good? How y'all doing? What's going on?
Hello.
A lot of y'all know me already. My name's Sunny Solomon, Sunny MS Solomon. I'm a songwriter, rapper. But right now, I am doing something for the community as part of the solution. I grew up in Adamville, Zone 4, right over there around the way by Bankhead. So I got together with one of my friends that I went to high school with, and we are currently doing the GoFundMe account. And it's called Loaded Backpack. So if everybody just pull out your phone, let me see if y'all pull out your phone right quick. It's on Instagram. It's a hashtag Loaded Backpack. And basically, we're going to give out 1,000 loaded backpacks to the kids in Adamville and to the kids in Bankhead. So if you down to donate, if you want to come out, there we go. Or if you want to come out, donate some time. If you can't donate no money, we're going to need a lot of help to do this. Because when I first thought about it, I only thought it was going to take like a couple $100 to do this. Then I did the math. It's gonna be like 9 stacks to do this. But I never said that I can do it by myself. I just said I'm gonna do it. You feel me? So with that being said, don't just see the light. I want y'all to be the light as well. So if you see the light, just be it. You know what I mean? It starts with us. And if you can donate, once again, it's called Loaded Backpack on all social media, on my Twitter, Loaded Backpack, Instagram, Loaded